what is it that God has already been nudging you toward that you are to be developing because of the gifts that He's created in you?
It is so important to prepare our girls emotionally for these relationships. Robin, maybe you can talk on this a little bit.
Well, I did mention in the first episode how Tricia and I just knew we wanted to write this book after we wrote the first one, Praying for Your Future Husband. We wanted to go, whoa, wait, let's go back before you even meet him. What's going on in your life? And so she and I had been collecting and writing different pieces. Oh, this is good. Oh, we should add this. We should talk about this. This is because we both have met with young women. We both have had so many letters from women who are struggling with these things. And so we were trying to put it all together. And I think it may have even been my daughter who first suggested it, to break it into 3 sections. And so when we did, then we could see, oh, this is so foundational for every young woman. First of all, your heart. What is going on in your heart? Who's on the throne? Who's in charge? And have you held on to bitterness or hurt? Have you not forgiven? Like, let's do the spring cleaning in your heart, because you're not going to be on track emotionally if your heart is just closed or corrupted. And so then we move from the heart to your head. Like, what are your thinking errors? What are you seeing in media that has really locked into your thought process that you think it should be like this? Or like Tricia had a perfect example. And so then how is it that we are to, as Scripture tells us, bring every thought captive to the obedience of Christ, and casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God? So when we put that together, then we thought, okay, definitely the third part has to be hand. So we have heart, head, hand, because the most important thing is, what are you doing right now? How has God uniquely gifted you? How is He calling you? It's not a life of waiting until He comes along to be my husband and then I'll just support him, whatever his life is about. It's, what is it that God has already been nudging you toward that you are to be developing because of the gifts that He's created in you? And when you are fully doing everything God created you to do, there's such fulfillment and such a process of being on the way. And I can tell you, and Tricia can tell you, story after story of women of all ages that we have talked to after they've read our books, or even if they didn't read our books, but they tell us, I was doing what God had gifted and called me to do, and there He was. So we added a whole section in the book about not stopping and being in that place of just lethargy, I guess, just languishing in all of your abilities and gifts. And I love it because I saw this happen in our own family with our daughter. When she met her husband, they met on their own and hadn't met face to face yet, but they'd, connected and talked. And she called me and told me his name. And I said, wait a minute, look him up. I want to look him up. Is his mom Margie and his dad, and she looked him up on Facebook, and, I did too. And she's like, yes. I said, oh, you can marry him. She goes, I haven't even met him yet. And I go, his mom was my college roommate at Biola University.
Oh, wow. My.
This is like, we prayed way back then. Wow. And God answers those prayers to the next generation and the next generation. And so when they met, it was so beautiful to hear how it was a meeting of the minds and the heart, and both of them already being on the path that God had them on. And they saw that they could do that in tandem and be stronger and better, two being better than one, and having a good reward for their labor. So it's real. And when Tricia and I put this together, we really wanted it to be like we were the auntie or the big sister talking to these young women, and set up the book so that it was really easy for a mom to say to her daughter at whatever age, let's go through this book together, because you and I can just read each section and then talk about it. That helps the mom have that jumping off pad to start these conversations that are so important. But Tricia and I share personal stories throughout. So the mom can just say, okay, what do you think about what Tricia said about this? Mm-hmm. And it leads to that conversation that's so essential for mom to be initiating and being proactive in that.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.